Welcome to the Life Lift Podcast, the podcast for the ambitious, the purpose-driven, and the ones who know they're meant for more. If you're ready to unlock the next version of yourself, you're in the right place.
Hey everyone, I'm Kaly.
And I'm Adam, and this podcast is for people who are done playing small. Whether you're building a business, rethinking your identity, or just craving more from life.
We're two friends, entrepreneurs and growth junkies who have built businesses, hit burnout, and found our way back to purpose. And now we're here to help you do the same, but faster, clearer, and without breakdown. Let's get started. Hi everyone, welcome back to Life Lifts podcast with your friends Kaly and Adam. Today we're going to be talking about the big three, the three rules to live by and the three rules that we will live by, which I think is really strange are different because we do live quite similar lives, and we'd love to share it with you to see if you are inspired to change even one aspect of your life. And I know that we were talking about three rules in three different aspects of our life, professionally, personally, and relationship-wise.
Yeah.
So, relationship-wise, how do you live your life? Like, what's the main rule that you go by with all your experience?
Well, do you know, so the whole point of this podcast, isn't it, is like the top three things we've learned
in
so
life.
far. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there are so many lessons that get you to where you are in life. But I think for me, if I could distill down my top thing that I've learned in relationships, it would be that you gotta stay true to who you actually are, and don't bend for the sake of fitting in. And you know, for me, like, integrity is a really big thing. So
yeah,
I want to be the person that people see at home, when I'm at work, if I'm out at a party. You know, I want that to always be, that's what Adam is like.
Yeah.
And of course we change if we're at work versus if we're at home, chilling out with our friends or our family. You know, we're different with our kids than we are when we're with our best friends. But ultimately, there's got to be this core of you are who you say you are. And so for me, I think when it comes to relationships,
stick to that.
Yeah. Like, find, don't bend and don't change yourself so much to fit in with other people or other people's expectations, because actually who you are as an individual is perfect for a group of people that will love every aspect or many aspects of who you are. So I think for me, integrity is a really big one in terms of, don't bend yourself too much to fit in with everybody else, but equally, don't expect other people to do the same for you.
Yeah.
So that's a big one for me. How about for you with relationships?
So I think, going off of what you've said, that's really hard as a girl dating, because whenever I would go on dates, and this would be like a self-esteem thing. Obviously, when you grow up, you become more confident in who you are. But at the beginning, when you're dating, you really want that person to like you back. Mm-hmm. There is a huge people pleaser within you. And so it's easy to be a chameleon and just pretend to like the things that they like. How many times have you been on dates like, oh my God, Game of Thrones, I love it too. And you have no idea.
Yeah.
Then you're going home and trying to watch everything. Or they like golf, so you pretend to like golf. And so I did a lot of that. I did a lot of bending.
Really?
So much.
See, I didn't do this ever.
Did you not?
Never, no.
I just think I was insecure. I was really insecure. I spent the whole of primary school, high school, and university, and never, ever, ever been picked for balls, proms, dances. Like, nobody wanted to kiss me. Nobody wanted to take me on dates. A lot of that I told myself was because culturally, like, I was different, and also I didn't want to date anyway. But as a girl going through hormones and growing up, of course I wanted the attention, and I never got it. So then post-graduating, which is really when I started dating, I was so desperate to have what everybody else had. I was very insecure that I just chameleoned or mirrored what the person was just so that it would make sense. And I went on loads of dates and I didn't care about any of their likes, but I just pretended to, because it allowed me to like date this guy for 2 to 3 weeks, then eventually it'd all fall apart because then I'd be like, no, actually, I can't talk about Game of Thrones anymore.
I can't tolerate this a single second longer.
This isn't who I am, And I totally agree with what you're saying now as a
Yeah.
37-year-old woman who's sure of who I am and what I love and what I like and what I deserve. But I think for anyone that's listening that's still young and trying to figure out, or is listening to that and thinks, oh, wow, I don't do that. That's okay. And you're just going through the journey of finding yourself.
Yeah.
But in finding yourself, don't sacrifice what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Because I dated the wrong guys for longer than they needed to, because I was so desperate to make it work. But ultimately, you're better being alone with yourself, your true self, than in company with the wrong person.
Yeah.
Being the wrong version of yourself as well. So I do love that, and that's a really good rule to go by now.
Yeah.
But I want to acknowledge that it takes time to get there.
Do you think that's because you weren't sure of what you liked at the time? And
No, I knew.
You did?
I always knew. I know who I am. I'm very self-aware. I think I'm very self-aware, but I was insecure. I was majorly insecure, and I just wanted to fit in. I think a lot of that is that I had imposter syndrome on so many levels. I'm like, this isn't my country. These aren't my friends. I don't even like their food. This is the weird music. Like, I would spend Monday to Friday at school being white, and then Friday to Monday at home being Kurdish. And they're two very drastic lifestyles.
Yeah.
I just wanted to fit in. I just wanted to, even like down to drinking. I didn't like drinking. And we weren't even allowed to drink. And then my 21st birthday, I was like, oh God, I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to lose some serious friends. Like, everybody drinks here. So I would have like 2 Blue Wickeds and just pretend to be drunk, because that was easier than having to drink this disgusting fluid that I didn't enjoy.
Yeah.
But everybody else was on it. So I just would be like, whoa. And it's an insecurity thing. Yeah. I knew what I wanted, but that didn't trump fitting in. I just always wanted to fit in. And now, as 37 years old, I just don't care. I think
now you want to stand out.
Now I want to stand out. And I actually think being different is such a flex. And I am really proud of that. And I think people can see in the last couple of years, I really talk about what makes me different. And I want others to embrace that too. But no, I knew who I was. I knew what I did and didn't like.
Yeah.
I just tried to shut it down so I fitted in. But ultimately, you're fitting in with the wrong crowd, because that's not who you are.
Yeah, and they're not your people anyway.
They're not my people. And those guys are not my guys. Like, if you don't know what asparagus is, you gotta go. You gotta go.
That is rule number 2.
Rule number 2 is greens are very important. Honestly, I dated a guy that didn't know what asparagus was for far too long.
Where were you finding these people?
Glasgow.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
Okay, so well, what would your
So my relationship one would be see them for who they are and not who you want them to be, which is exactly why I struggled. Like, I just wanted them to eventually be like me. And I just pretended to not see them who they are.
Yeah.
And I have this conversation with my patients multiple times. I see 20 to 30 women a day, 7 days a week, and everyone is going through some form of relationship issue or newness or breakup or mourning. If your life was a black and white movie, who are they? And it's so important to sometimes close your ears and listen with your eyes. Like, listen with your eyes, because the opposite sex, and it's not always guys, women are just as good at it, are really good at having the gift of the gab. But listen to what they're doing, not this. And that was another thing that I, like, a guy would not text me for 5 days and then just miraculously on Friday night be like, hey, darling, what's up? I'll tell you what's up. You've not spoken to me for 5 days. But then they would be sweet. And then that person in me would be like, oh yeah, fair enough. They've been busy and it's been long.
And it hooks you back in.
Yeah, their job at the call center must be really stressful this week. And then I'd hook back in again. But like, listen to what they're doing. Why are they only coming up at the weekend and then they're just disappearing during the week? You're not part of their lives.
Yeah.
That's my big one, is see them for who they are and not who you want them to be. Because as somebody who trusts painfully, this is another thing that I'm working on in my adult life, is not to trust so easily. I just trust that everybody's got good intentions, because I do. but that's not real life. So don't give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Give your loved ones the benefit of the doubt, because things do happen, but don't give everybody that kind of the same trust.
Yeah.
And see them for who they are. And if you don't know who they are, close your ears and just watch it like a black and white movie. Replay the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And what would you tell your friend if that was them? That's a big one for me.
It's funny, as you were just talking there, I had this like mental image, you know how we're talking about Jafar earlier?
Oh no. Look, my eyebrows are not working today.
Those eyebrows are going to look great for months to come.
Yeah, for Halloween.
Yeah. But I had this like mental image of, you know, when we're kids and we're brought up with all the Disney characters, aren't we? Like all the Disney, I think of like Aladdin, for example, and everybody's nice, you know, to Princess Jasmine.
Yeah.
And there's only one Jafar. But actually in life, and I think a lot of people think that way, like, oh, they're so mean, or they're, you know, why don't they like me? Or why have I, you know, why do they not want to come to this? Or why do they not talk to me for a week or whatever? And, you know, we're kind of almost taught as kids, and like my kids have had this too, where my daughter's had some issues with some kids at school and stuff. And it's like, well, why don't they like me? And it's almost this idea that there isn't just one Jafar, if that makes sense. Like there's
only
tons
one
of them.
Jasmine.
Yeah, exactly. But there's tons of them, and I think this idea that we have to just get along with everybody, and everyone's got our best interests at heart. Like they don't.
Life.
Everyone's got their own interests at heart, and I think this is kind of. I think both of our points here are very similar in that. For me, it's be who you say you are, and yours is see people for who they are, and not for who you think or who you want them to be.
And that's in friendship as well,
totally,
not just relationship. But also, see if people are not inviting you to things, they're doing you a favor. I swear to God, they're doing you a favor.
I think with stuff like that, you know, I have this like, who cares?
But then again, as a girl that was trying to fit in, I really cared. It really broke me that people were having parties and I wasn't invited. It broke me. Like I would then be insecure about going into school the next day, and then when they were all talking about so-and-so did this, I'd be like, oh, like you feel segregated. So I get it. Like from your daughter's point of view, when you're so trying hard to fit in. And actually, I read a book called Lost Connections, which is a guy that was suicidal, decided he was just gonna spunk all the money that he had, travel the world, and when he finished, he would come back and then he would end it. And in traveling the world, he realized what the true meaning of depression was, and it's the source of anxiety and insomnia, and all of it comes down to who we are as cavemen. And in cavemen, we feel safer in a pack. So as much as modern day allows us to be independent and celebrates you do you, boo, let them and all this. In my core, though, I want to have a pack. And that pack is obviously family, but my work unit has to be strong. My friendship unit has to be strong. And when you're not in a pack, in caveman terms, you're on your own, and therefore you're more vulnerable. You're more likely to be attacked. You're not going to survive. And that's where insomnia kicks in, depression, anxiety, and so on and so forth. So I get it. Like as a young girl, you want to have your pack for the time being. We now know as adults, it's a chapter in your life, and who cares? But for her, it's relative. It means a lot. And I remember being 14 not that long ago and being hurt by, these big parties going around and like not getting an invitation, or going to the Halloween disco and nobody's asked to go. And now it's way worse, because now it's on social media and everybody makes a big deal out of it. You get a balloon for graduating nursery these days, man. So I totally get it. And I want to empower people with tools, but I also want to validate their relative struggles. Like if you're going through it, you're not weird, but just know that you're going to come out the other side. And honestly, who cares?
But I think a lot of adults still feel like this. They've not worked through this
they're not healed
feeling of like, I still have to be part of this group. You know what I mean?
And you don't. I think when you're old enough, first of all, you only need like 2 friends. You don't need a pack anymore. You're strong enough now as the leader of the pack to hunt and provide for yourself. Like when you're younger, yes, you need that group environment around you because people are going to have to look after you. But when you're older and you're strong enough, you don't need to have a group of meaningless acquaintances.
Yeah.
You just need 2 or 3 that you hunt together and you're stronger together. And I see a lot of adults, this, you know, when you see weddings and it's the groomsmen with like, the groom with like 9 groomsmen, I'm, what's going on, mate? How can you have 9 groomsmen?
Yeah, but
you
some people, they love this like, that's the whole pack, yeah.
Like, you're just people pleasing all these guys. You only text 2 of them.
Yeah.
And the same with the bride. It's like the bride and like 9 bridesmaids. Really?
Yeah.
And
although I was at a wedding at the weekend, and I've got to say, those guys were tight.
were they?
They were like brothers, yeah.
Men are different to girls.
Yeah. I know, boys and girls are different.
They're so different. But I do think it's important to not entertain for the sake of entertaining.
Yeah, I agree too. I think I suppose that the thing is that there's not like one rule, is there? That's the thing, is that like, because we're all so different and we've all had such different journeys that...
I wish I was like you. I wish I didn't care when I was younger.
I did care though when I was younger. Like, I was the same as you, you know, brought up, like I talked about before, and super religious, like, you know, weird really to some of the people I went to school with. But, you know, I was lucky I had 2 really great friends, and although 3 of us actually, we would hang around all the time together. And, you know, they each had their own friendship groups too, with football and different sports that they did. I wasn't sporty, so I didn't do that stuff. But
really?
Does that surprise you, darling?
You weren't
I had
sporty.
many other talents, yeah. But sports, although I did play rugby, I was on the wing.
I don't believe that.
I'm serious, I've got a photo. I was the fastest winger because I was like a little twig. Yeah, I'm serious. I would get the ball and I would just run for my life as these like massive
no one's gonna
20-stone kids were running after me.
It's like that dance, you're going to catch me now. I'm like a whippet. That's you. Yeah.
I was a whippet, yeah. And then they'd like crush me and break all my bones.
I love that.
What was my point there? My point was that I understand what you're saying too, because you know, maybe not to the same extent as you, but
yeah.
You know, I definitely felt that. But I think I've always just had this mentality that I don't need to get people's approval.
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay with
being alone.
what I think. Well, yeah, but like I'm very social, as you know. Like, I mean, I'll talk to anybody, and I think it's like, for me, I think, I tell you what it was. I had a mentor when I was younger, and he was like a local businessman, and he kind of took me under his wing a little bit, really. And he used to always say to me, and this is probably my next rule actually, is be very careful who you give your time to, because who you spend your time with will impact massively who you are as a person.
Yeah.
And that's something that's taken me through my whole life. I'm very careful who I give my time to. And I'm probably the same as you in this, in that, you know, we know loads of people, Connor and I, we get invited to stuff all the time, but I'm very picky at what I actually go to.
Yeah.
And when I was younger, that would cause me problems, because people would think, oh, you're antisocial, or, well, why don't you like me, or why don't you want to come to my party? But it wasn't, I didn't want to go.
Oh my God, I was desperate to go to all the parties. I wasn't getting any invites.
You wanted to go, yeah. But I just thought, you know what, I've got like this limited amount of time. I think I can do something better with my time.
Yeah.
You know, and so...
You're investing.
Yeah, and so I've always been very careful with who I spend my time with. And
so is that your professional rule? What's your like top 3 rule in professional?
do you know, I think my top, I would say, now I would say it's watch what you do with your time.
Yeah.
Because your time, if I'm in the clinic 5 days a week, I have less of an impact than I do if I'm in 1 day a week. And because people get used to you being there.
Yeah.
And they then take it for granted that you're just around. And you know, when we started House, I had to be there 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Because everybody was new, and I had to teach everybody about how to create this service experience, all the protocols, all the rules, the whole experience that people will see from the minute they click on our website or look at our social media or they book their first appointment. You know, all that's been created, and at the time, no one knew what to do. So,
yeah.
But now,
so when the boss comes in now and that 1 day a week,
now it's meaningful time. Yeah. So, and it's important because, for my own sanity. I'm a builder. That's what I do best. When I'm creating something, I'm in my element. When I'm maintaining stuff,
Do you get bored?
That's not a good place for me, yeah, because I get bored.
Really?
And so my job, and this is what I've learned over my career, is that my job is to build something and then put somebody else in to maintain
And
it.
then leave.
And then build it again. And not to leave it completely on its own, because otherwise the plate goes a bit sugary on the peg. But it's then to keep dipping in and keep spinning that plate. So what I've learned is I've got to be careful who and how much of my time I give.
Yeah.
Because if I give too much, then that person will rely on me too much for the support, when actually I'm not doing them any favors. Like I've got two people that work for us right now, and they are massively stepping up into like leadership positions, which is great. Love it.
I can guess who they are.
Yeah, you know exactly. But they've taken the last 2.5 years of me being 5 days a week, 4 days a week, 3 days a week, 2 days, and now 1 day a week I spend with them.
And you're passenger princess now.
And now I'm ready for
The
my
next
next
one.
project. And they now are able to keep spinning the plates themselves. So, so it's not. I would love to be in the clinic every day because it's fun, and those are my people.
But then
I built
you lose
it.
your power.
I lose my power, and also then I'm not enabling them to grow either because there's only so much air in the room. So. I've learned.
So interesting. I need to start doing that.
Yeah. So, but it's the same when it comes to meetings. I don't go to meetings unless there's an agenda, because what's the point? If it's going to be wasted time, I don't need to be there.
Yeah.
But text me, have a phone call. Like I've got so much stuff that I'm doing in a day that I need to give my time to stuff that's important.
Yeah.
And I'm in and I'm out. Same as us today. We're here. We'll do what we got to do, and then bang, we're away.
We've got places to be.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
so
we want to be
that's
here.
my number 2 is be very careful who you give your time to, because if you give it to the wrong people, it will derail you or it will waste your time. And we've only got an infinite, we don't have an infinite amount of time. It's ticking fast.
In every aspect of life.
Yeah.
I love that.
What would yours be in business?
My professional one is also a little bit personal, is that when you become a mother, it doesn't mean you have to sacrifice your career.
This is a good one, I think.
Because a lot of my friends, peers, colleagues, families were doing wonderfully. Then they had their children and then everything just stopped. And it's society accepts that and celebrates that. And, oh, it's lovely that you're a mom. And I get it. I love being a mom, but it does not mean that you have to be cancelled because you had children.
Yeah.
And that's a huge one for me. Don't let this be your limit. We were talking about these balloons and how there's some that are still the ceiling and some that are lower. And we were saying that's us at the ceilings. And, and the ceiling is, your ceiling is self-limiting, but you are influenced by what society tells you, what your friends and your peers tell you. A lot of my friends, in fact, all of my female friends had children and then they never went back to work, or they went back to work, but it's like 1 day a week, half day a week. Yeah. And the rest of it is just motherhood. I really didn't want to be like that. Yeah. And when I fell pregnant and my business was literally, I felt like the wheels of the plane had just left the tarmac. I was building The Secret. When I fell pregnant with Luca, I had the keys to The Secret. I had left dentistry. I was expanding at a rate that I could not keep up with, which I'm so grateful for. And I kept saying to my mom, this is a ticking time bomb. This is a ticking time bomb. Because I thought, when I have children, the plane's just going to have to crash land. Yeah. That's not the case. You can have children and go on autopilot for a couple of years and then get those gears back up, baby. Because my career now, postpartum, is much, much better and that I could have ever imagined than I was prepartum. And I really wish that somebody said to me, it's going to change, but it's going to change for about a year to a year and a half. And then you can get the gas back on again. And that's a professional rule that I go by and say to my staff. I have 2 members of staff that are pregnant just now. And I've said, congratulations. I'm going to support you in maternity, but you're getting back on the horse when you come back. Because why should it be that women, this is a huge thing in politics. They talk about like the gender pay gap and then when you look at the statistics, actually the pay is the same. It's just that women have to go off, and then we all complain about it's men that are on stage in Monaco injecting and women are not, because women have to stop and have children, and nobody said they can't go back. Yeah, we've just decided that that's acceptable. And I'm saying right now, as a rule of thumb, it's not. You can have your child, you can heal, you can be with them, you can build them until they're walking, talking, and then you can get back on it. Yeah. And hope I'm an advocate for that.
Yeah.
And I'm also expanding and pushing, and this is just the beginning. I've
Yeah.
left autopilot and I'm really going up, and that's a big one. Motherhood does not mean your career's cancelled.
Yeah.
It's not.
I agree.
It's just the beginning. But
Definitely.
enjoy it. And also, equally though, if you want to be a mum and that's your thing, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of women I'm speaking to in the clinic that are like, I miss having a job. I miss leaving the house. And I'm like, why are you not though?
Yeah. Go back to it then.
Who let you accept that this is okay?
Yeah.
And it's society. It's
Yeah.
our partners. It's our friends. Everybody else is walking with their prams in the park on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
I want to be making business. I want to
Yeah.
be growing an empire. I want to be setting this path for my children.
Definitely.
That's how I am as a mum.
I think as well, if you've got a partner, you've got to have the conversation with them to say, look, I am missing something in my life by staying at home with the kids. How are we going to together as a team enable me to go and have more of what I need as an individual? You know what I mean? Because, I mean, let's be honest, like if you're on your own, it's going to be really tough.
It's so hard. And
You have
motherhood
to-
is the hardest job
Yeah.
in the world.
Totally.
Not just motherhood, parenthood is the hardest job in the world.
yeah.
And there's no breaks. Like I
Yeah.
come home and it's night shift and Sophia fell out of the bed last night. I was like, what day is it? What's going on? And it's constant.
Yeah.
Whereas work gives you that controlled adult you time. And it's so important to have that again.
Yeah.
So many of my friends and family had children, and then they not only just their careers like stopped, but they also forgot who they are. Like all they talk about is the children.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about something else.
Yeah.
That can't be your whole personality now, is that you're a mum.
Yeah.
There's gotta be something more to it.
Yeah.
And that's another one. It's a bit of business and professional, is the road to go by is don't forget who you are
Yeah.
and what you want. And that's
like that.
again in dating and business and professional, but that's my business one is
Yeah.
don't let motherhood cancel who you are as an entrepreneur.
I really like that. I think that'll actually resonate with a lot of people, for sure. Yeah, I'm sure it will. What would as an individual then, of like a rule that you as Kaly Jaff are not prepared to negotiate on, or if you could go back in time and give one piece of advice to your younger self, or to anybody that's listening, that has been the key to who you are today, what would that be?
It's what you do in privacy shows in public.
I like that.
And that goes for what we read, who we converse with, exercise, what we eat, how we dress. Like what we do in privacy is really what the show is in public.
Yeah.
People can pretend to be other things. People can talk the talk, but who you are in privacy is who people see in public. So invest in that and be disciplined. I think I was really guilty of not taking care of my body, my mind. In privacy, like in public, I was the life and soul of the party, but in privacy, I would just scroll aimlessly. I wouldn't exercise. I wouldn't eat right. And it didn't matter like how nice my clothes were. It just didn't look right. Whereas now I'm disciplined. I meal prep. I journal. I'm mindful. I am very selective about who I spend my time with.
Yeah.
I am very selective about what I read, what I watch. And that discipline and privacy is more than showing up in public now.
Yeah.
And that's a rule that I will always go by moving forwards. And I wish I came to fruition before the age of 36. And something that I will enlist in my children as well. Don't do it for other people. Do it for yourself, because what you do for yourself in privacy is going to show in public.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
I like that a lot.
I'm just too late to it. Well, no, it's not too late.
No, you're not too late. I think you're
just
exactly on time.
Yeah, I feel like it's on time.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your absolute rule of life, personal rule of life to take
Rule
home?
of life. So, yeah, mine was my integrity. My one thing that I'm not prepared to,
Negotiate on?
is be intentional about adding value to other people.
Okay.
And we've talked about this before, of this concept that you're either a value adder or a value taker away. Your Patronus and what was
Or
it?
Dementor.
Or Dementor, yeah.
There's a lot of Dementors in the world.
I think one thing that I consciously do every day, and I have done for many years now, is I try to add something to everybody that I come into contact with that day.
And you do that so effortlessly.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
You do. You're like a charge.
Thank
all
you.
the time.
But I intentionally do that because I see so many people, and this started when I was younger. I would see so many people that if you just gave them a little compliment, it would mean so much. And they would come back sometimes, weeks, months, whatever later, and they just would warm to me because every day I'd say, oh, you look really nice today, or, I really love your hair today, or actually the way you did that phone call, that was so good, like I'm going to try that myself. And people really respond well to you showing kindness and liking them. And being intentional about adding or lifting other people up is something that when I die, I want at my funeral to say, he added so much to me in this way. And I want all these stories of how I've lifted other people. And I know that sounds, oh really? Okay, don't cry. It's not happening for a while, I hope.
Don't die.
But I want people to say that about me, that he added so much to me. And if that's what I want people to say about me,
then
I've got to do it every single day.
But are you never in a bad mood?
Yeah, of course I'm in a bad mood. And, sometimes I can really cheese it. Like driving here this morning, somebody nearly crashed into my brand new car.
New jewelry car.
Yeah, right. And then I had this moment where I was like, oh my God, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then I had to catch myself and say, maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe they're rushing somewhere.
Yeah.
We were driving past the hospital. Maybe they're going to the hospital. And training your mind to go positive and not go negative has been one of the best things that I've ever learned.
It's a full-time job.
It's a full-time job. And you know what? It's not easy.
Yeah.
And it never gets easier, but it becomes a habit. And so I want to go positive. I want to add value to everybody that I meet, because I feel like when I lift others up, I almost lift myself up too, and I've always had this thing, I want to be a leader, I want to be a trailblazer, I want people to look at me and say, I want to be like him. He's got something that I really want to be like.
What does that do for you?
It does for me the fact that it gives me a sense of joy that I can't compare to anything else. Like, I love it when, you've probably seen this when I've been speaking at different events, and you'll have had it too, when people come up to you afterwards and say, oh my God, I learned this from you a few years ago. Like I get this sometimes where people have done like a few of my courses, so they've heard me speak at lots of different events over the years, and they'll come to me and they'll say, I remember you said this one thing and it really changed something in me. I spoke about the 5 love languages.
That's me. I do that all the time too. I'm
I know.
This is literally why The Secret exists.
Yeah. But there was a guy who came up to me recently and he was like, you taught me something about the 5 love languages, now 6 love languages, but this was at the time. And he was like, I've never gone back to the way I treated my partner after that session. Like, it completely changed. And I didn't even see this guy in my session, and
But how nice to know that you've planted all these little seeds and all the trees are growing, and one day you're just going to stand up and
see a
the
forest,
garden.
hopefully. Yeah. So I think that's one for me, is be a value adder. Whenever you feel yourself going negative, try to turn it into a positive. And equally, every interaction you've got every single day, whether it's with the Starbucks girl or the Costa guy who's making your coffee, your patience or your team. Every day I hug my team without any.
Oh my God, my team would die if I hugged them.
I hug them and I tell them, you look really good today, and I'll find something to say something to them to make them feel good, because
I love that.
Like, I don't have to. And if I don't do it, who else is going to do it? It's free, but I think that's the point. It's like, be intentional and don't leave it to somebody else, be the leader.
You're such a good egg.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Like Adam.
What would yours be?
Yeah, what you do in privacy shows in public.
Yeah,
so,
of course, yeah.
Like, do the work on you. And I think I'm really, yours is all about other people, and I think selfishly mine is all about me right now, because I'm still very much healing and coming out of.
You're in a growth state, zone right now.
I'm really working hard on myself so that I can be that person for other people. And I know I am.
You are.
I'm a value adder, of course. That's how I live my life. But I think do the work on you first, and then you can be the Adam. Oh. Be the Kaly caterpillar, and then you can be the Adam butterfly.
I love that. Yeah. So really, top takeaways from today, what would yours be?
For your one is the integrity. My top three obviously is professionally. See people for who they are and not what you want them to be. Don't let motherhood be the end of your career.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, and it shouldn't be. And do the work on yourself in privacy so that you can go in public. Those are my three go-bys.
I love those.
But the one that I learned from you is integrity. Do as you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
And also, don't try and fit in.
Yeah, I think
It's so hard.
it is hard, but
hard.
stick to it.
Just want to fit in.
Yeah. And then for me, it's be a value adder. Choose to be intentional about something that lifts other people up, because it will come back to you tenfold and it will give you so much joy. And nobody will ever say, why did you just say that to me?
Yeah,
Go
because
away.
it's so kind.
Yeah.
Stop being so nice.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for listening today. If you like what you heard, please tell your friends, family, subscribe to this podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and make sure you follow us on our social media channels as well. From your friends Adam and Kaly, thanks for joining us, and we can't wait to see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. This is the Life Lift podcast with Adam and Kaly, where we look at how to make shift happen. From our home to yours, we hope you feel inspired and motivated to do at least one thing differently today as you make your own shift happen towards a more rewarding and fulfilling life filled with purpose and happiness.